stunning new report from the Washington Free Beacon says at least a dozen federal judges will no longer take clerks from Yale Law School following a slew of scandals. That includes this incident from March when student protesters shut down a free speech panel.
Free speech is why you're allowed to talk here and no, you're disrupting the free speech. You're disrupting us.
Alliance Defending Freedom CEO, President, and General Counsel Kristen Waggoner was one of those panelists who was shouted down, and she joins us now, along with Yale Law graduate and Strive Asset Management founder Vivek Ramaswamy. Great to have you both with me this morning. Kristen, you were there, so you see, one of the conversations I think we have to have is about a reputation and a culture that has been inculcated, created, fostered at Yale. And it seems to me here you have a dozen judges going, well, if that's the reputation, I'm going to change my hiring practices.
You're right. You can't have a justice system that works without the free exchange of ideas. We know that good lawyers and good law clerks need to be able to understand and engage with ideas and people that they dislike. So I don't think it's any surprise that federal judges are taking notice when Yale seems to abandon these principles in favor of coercing uniformity of thought, which is what is happening at Yale Law School.
Yeah, and so, Vivek, I mean, the question becomes, like, who's responsible for what we just see right there on that video? Is it individual Yale students, maybe even a student group, or is it something that's larger? Is it a culture at Yale? And that's what Judge James Ho is saying. He said Yale not only tolerates the cancellation of views, it actively practices it. I will no longer hire law clerks from Yale Law School, and I hope that other judges will join me as well. Your thoughts?
Yeah, so look, I think that this is a culture that is includes Yale, but is not limited to Yale. I mean, right. I would say that Harvard and Stanford are equally bad in their own respects. But this is evidence of a broader culture of so-called diversity, capital D diversity, that actually penalizes actual diversity of thought. And one litmus test, I mean, we live in such a polarized time, Will, one litmus test to use to see if you actually care about that principle is imagine the tables were turned. Suppose that it was actually conservative students objecting to a left-of-center speaker using similar tactics. There is little doubt that there would have been an outcry at Yale and across elite institutions that these students were inciting violence. And if you turn the tables, that would have been your answer. It still should have been your answer right now. And we need to take those political blinders off to say that this isn't a left-wing or a right-wing issue. This is an issue about the free exchange of ideas that liberals and conservatives alike should care equally about.
So I'm inclined to agree with you, Vivek, that it's not a Yale particular issue. But I saw Kristen's face when you said that, and I saw you tilt your head. Kristen, you disagree?
Well, I agree that there is a problem across many law schools, but Yale is particularly an issue. We not only see protests that are happening, but actual disruptions, physical intimidation. Being the person that was put in the back of that police car, I can tell you it was at a level that I haven't seen in the past. And Judge Ho was right to remind us that self-government is dependent on free speech and that we have to start showing up. Silence is contagious, but so is courage. And so in this moment of time, Alliance Defending Freedom is standing up on campuses and in courtrooms, but all Americans have a role to play in this, to reject cancel culture mentality, because there's more at stake than Yale's law school ranking.
You know, I certainly, last note to you here, Vivek, I certainly believe in the free exchange of ideas, and I hear you don't really fight cancel culture with cancel culture, but isn't there something to be said about also supporting it? So in other words, like Americans out there decide, do I want to keep subscribing to Disney Plus or Netflix? Same thing with a potential employer. Do I want to keep supporting something that I don't support?
Hey, look, there's a very fair point here, Will, which is that Yale has enjoyed a reputation that has caused students to enjoy clerkships with federal judges for a long time because they produce competent students. That was the reputation. Now, if they're producing closed-minded students, the market response to that, I think, is a legitimate response and a legitimate start to the conversation. But, you know, at the end of the day, I don't want to be light on Yale in response to Kristen. I think that this starts with the president of the university. I think Yale needs a new president from the top. But this cultural change isn't just going to come top down. It's going to have to be bottom up as well in inculcating a new generation of students that recognize you don't settle political questions through force. You settle them through free speech and open debate. That's what the university is supposed to be about.
And that's coming from a Yale Law School graduate, by the way. All right, so we did reach out to Yale Law School for a statement, but they have not yet responded. Kristen, Vivek, always great to talk to you. Thank you so much.
I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.